Now that was a great fight. Saturday night at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, Keith Thurman wins I'm just gonna call it a classic over Shawn Porter. I got the details. Very rarely will you see a fight that is a much hype event actually live up to the billing. And to me, in my opinion, that's what we saw on Saturday night on CBS, the first primetime broadcast boxing match on CBS in 38 years. And if you ask me, it lived up to everything they talked about. It was a highly anticipated fight. Keith Thurman eked out a victory over Shawn Porter by unanimous decision, 115 to 113 on all three cards. Crazy enough, that's the exact score that I had as well. But I am not mad at anybody who thinks that Shawn Porter deserved to win this fight, because it was a very tough fight to judge, very close fight. It really came down to what is it that you were going to value. Shawn Porter was the aggressor in many of the situations. When he was able to bully Keith Thurman against the ropes, he definitely controlled those sequences. But Keith Thurman landed the cleaner, harder shots. He wobbled Porter on several occasions. There was one situation, I believe it was in the 7th round. Porter hurt Thurman to the body, and Thurman got out of there, skated out of trouble, but he was truly hurt, which is actually the second time in as many fights I've seen Thurman actually get hurt with a left hook to the body. But nonetheless, Thurman landed 44% of his shots. Porter landed 36%. Porter only landed one more shot overall than Thurman did. But obviously, when you're judging a fight, it's not necessarily about who landed the most shots. It goes round by round, and that's the one thing I think people sometimes forget when they're judging a fight. They attempt to judge it in totality. So they sit there and they watch the entire fight and they say, oh, well, I think Porter won this fight, but I think Thurman won this fight because he just seemed like he got the better of him. That's how you judge a fight in the street. But that's not how you judge an actual boxing match. It has to go round by round. So even though you may have been more impressed with the 4th, 5th, or 6th round, and that may have been the round that one guy won, if the other guy won more rounds, he's still the winner of the fight. And I think that's something that that tends to get a little bit lost on people when they're watching fights and attempting to judge fights. But this was just a spectacular bout. I mean, back and forth action. There were two situations in the fight where the crowd at the Barclays Center actually stood up and gave a standing ovation. I mean, this was good stuff. I mean, if you don't watch boxing and this was the first fight you saw, you might be fooled into thinking that they're all like this, and that's not the case. But yeah, it was a great fight. They talked about rematch immediately, and obviously nobody would complain. But Danny Garcia is actually was mandated to face the winner of this fight, so we'll see if that sticks or holds. I mean, a Thurman-Danny Garcia fight is definitely a good one, but as I said, I don't think anybody will complain about seeing Porter Thurman too. But I could easily see perhaps Thurman having to take on Danny Garcia next, and then maybe Porter has to fight. I mean, I made a suggestion in a Forbes column that I wrote that perhaps maybe he takes on Amir Khan next, and if he can beat Amir Khan, which I think he probably would, then if Thurman beats Garcia, which I think he would, then they could then meet with both fighters' stock even higher. Perhaps that's even a pay-per-view fight at this point after this showing. So this fight was set up to make somebody a star. It may very well have made both guys a star. I don't know about superstar level, but both of these guys' stock actually go up in this fight, even though there was only one winner. And for me personally, it's the fight of the year. Some people like Salido's fight a month or so ago, and that definitely was Salido Vargas. That was definitely an amazing fight. So, either way you go, you can't go wrong. But I'm going to tell you right now, if there's two fights that you need to see this year, if you haven't seen them yet, it's Thurman Porter and Salido Vargas. Those two fights right now, a short list of Fight of the Year candidates right now. Those were just both great fights. But this one here, being on network television, set up the way it was, great fight. The judging wasn't ridiculous. That was the one thing I was afraid of. I was hoping we didn't see any ridiculous scorecards that had somebody winning 117 to 110, something crazy. We did not see that at all. The judges' cards were indicative of how close this fight was, and it was just overall an impressive night. So I do appreciate you watching. God bless. Peace.